This weekend will mark the second anniversary of the devastating eastern Kentucky flood.
Tonight, WKYT's Alexa Minton has more about mental health concerns in the region for those continuing to struggle with the trauma. It is our top story at 5:30.
All of us that grew up in Appalachia, we were, raised to pull ourselves up by the bootstrap, not ask for help, and just kind of put your head down and get the job done.
This weekend marks the second anniversary of the historic Eastern Kentucky flooding event that claimed the lives of 45 people. It's an anniversary for some that might bring up reminders of stress and anxiety felt in the heat of the moment.
Things like an anniversary or just any time that there's bad weather or calls for flooding, it can really bring the body and the mind back into this space, that experience, that acute stress response.
The American Psychiatric Association says that symptoms of extreme weather post-traumatic stress disorder could range from mild stress to intense anxiety and depression. They also shared that children and first responders are two groups of high concern when addressing mental health after damaging weather.
Feeling down, feeling tired, sleeping more, maybe a shorter temper or shorter fuse. Those can be kind of telltale signs for someone that's experiencing some depression or just, stress from remembering what happened.
And while Eastern Kentucky has already rebuilt so much of what was lost, ARH and other behavioral health options are encouraging those struggling with the second anniversary of flooding that it's okay to not be okay. And asking for help with mental health struggles is just another way to showcase Kentuckians' resilience.
It's rewiring the way that you're thinking about this and understanding too and being cognizant of, hey, I'm stressed, I'm anxious, I'm feeling depressed. Because of the event that I experienced, not because it's likely that it's going to happen again. That's the way that people kind of heal from this, is that they start recognizing the patterns in their thoughts and reach out for help.
For WKYT, I'm First Alert Meteorologist Alexa Minton.
Well, if you or a loved one is struggling with anxiety or depression as the anniversary approaches this weekend, you can visit ARH's website for behavioral health options and resources, or you can call 988 for the Crisis Lifeline here in Kentucky. And we know as that anniversary approaches, so many folks just have it right there. Still, it's very fresh for a lot of folks.
Important to observe it and take stock of where we are in the recovery, but yeah, it is tough for many.